If this year's peak was a real nightmare for you, keep watching to find out how technology can help you avoid this in the future. Welcome to this special edition Last Mile Experts video. I'm delighted to have my friend Michał Mołdrzyk, who's also a partner at Software Mind and a long-standing consultant that we work with at Last Mile Experts. So he's really the right guy to talk to. And Michał, we're going to be talking about something really quite important today, aren't we?
Hi, Marek. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, we will talk about the peak season and the challenges that are related to this season.
And probably when this video is issued, most of you will have had peak largely behind you, and you'll be thinking, oh my God, we could have maybe done it a bit better. And what Michał and I are going to try to do today is to look at what can we do, how can we use technology in particular to create a smoother, safer peak for you next year. Michał, maybe we can kick off then and talk about the sort of failures that happen at peak. Where do they originate from? What's your feeling? Are they always there?
Yeah, exactly as you mentioned. I think it's not the issue that the peaks brings new problems to the table. So I think it's the issue that when you have an organization with slow decision making, manual handovers, and systems that don't talk to each other, it's good for 11 months during the year, but peak rips that comfort away. It show everything as it is.
So effectively, peak problems or challenges, they're always there. It's only during the non-peak months, it's much easier to deal with them. They're less visible. But because at peak you have so much more volume, you have so many more issues in one short time, it just basically accentuates things that are there. What are the steps that could be taken to avoid these peak issues? Because you said correctly, it's where you have manual processes, manual handover. From your experience, looking holistically, what are the sort of things that can be done to remove some of the unnecessary problems that occur?
I think you're saying that what you can automate, how the technology can support your operation to make you through the peak season easily. And I think the peak rewards friction removal, not the adding tools to your organization. I've seen operators spending millions on new systems and ignoring the manual steps that actually break under the volume pressure. So it's sometimes more to focus on the manual handovers, bottlenecks, and fix the process, support it with the proper technology, than thinking about new systems that automate everything.
In a discussion when we were preparing for this recording, you mentioned some really cool stuff because sometimes the problem can be solved before it even happens. Because, of course, there are tools to minimize manual processes and errors, but training is a big deal, and not many people look at that. Share with us a bit about your experience with creating training tools that avoid the mistake before it even happens.
Yeah, so that's the place where the app design becomes strategic. Yeah, good courier application or PUDO application doesn't just track work; it reduce the mistake, guide people from exceptions, and keep the day predictable. We had some examples when we redesigned the app for the PUDO operator with few thousand PUDO points, and the goal was simple: 80% reduction of onboarding time. And we achieved that goal. And the new partners were productive in hours, not days. And if the app thinks for the user in the difficult moments, the quality stay consistent, even if you triple or your workforce with people who started last week.
So you create a tool that actually helps you avoid issues with onboarding. You can onboard people faster and more people. So that's part of it. But also, I think you mentioned that you're able to create tools that minimize the process, the clicks we talked about earlier. I think that's important. To share a bit of that because I think it would be very interesting for the viewers. You were able, if I understand correctly, to reduce clicks by about 50%?
Yeah, exactly. We have a project and we redesigned a courier app for one of the operators with thousands of couriers. And mind change we developed was the reducing the number of clicks per delivery by half. No new technology, no AI, just better ergonomics. And the achievement was that courier productivity increased by 10%. And if you multiply it by thousand of couriers and do the math, you will know what that means for the delivery capacity and what it means for peaks.
So training can ensure that you offer a better product, fewer manual mistakes, processes that are simpler and easier avoid those mistakes. Are there any other AI tools that you've seen at peak time that could be really useful that could save people issues? I mean, I'll maybe kick off with one because typically people call customer service much more often at peak times. Where's my parcel? The classic issue, and it's a very standardized one. And I know that AI can really do a great job there because it's simple. But have you seen anything else from your side that AI can help avoid issues at peak?
Yeah, I think the AI has a huge potential in the last mile and help to avoid the problems you have during the peak. As you mentioned, the call centers is one of an example. Second is route planning and forecasting for the volumes you should expect. But all of that cases are based on the AI which use solid foundation of your organization. So before you start thinking about the AI, you should check if your foundation in your IT and your organization are solid enough to build AI solution on that. Because there is no AI which can give a proper value to you, to your customer, if you don't have the proper data below. So without the live data, you cannot answer the customer what happens with my parcel, for example. Well, you cannot plan the route for the courier if you don't know exactly where he is and what parcels he need to deliver today.
So basically, Mia, what you're saying is that there is no alternative to having good process, good data. AI can enhance how you use it, but basically, there's no quick fix if you haven't solved that issue. Maybe, Michał, last question. If you had to choose any one capability that you think is fundamental at peak, I think I know what you're going to say, but of all the things we've discussed, what would be the one that you would say to people, this is fundamental and this is what you really need to remember to make a better peak experience for your customers and for your employees next year?
My answer will be adaptability. So the ability to see what's happening across the network in real time and adjust quickly across people, processes, and technology. Because peak always surprise you. Depot goes down or weather hits a region, key customer doubles the volume. And it's not about the forecasting and prediction. It's about seeing and reacting very fast.
And the sooner that you know, the sooner you can react. Maybe, Michał, it'd be interesting if our viewers have any other examples or questions they'd like to ask. Of course, please feel free to comment or respond to any questions you can have. Michał, this has been a real pleasure. What I should mention, this is one of a series of videos we're going to do. Looking forward to seeing you at the next one, where we will discuss the next very important topic related to technology and the last mile. Thank you, Michał.
Thank you, Marek. It was my pleasure.